Good morning. We'll start session 3 on chapter gravitation. We'll begin with the numericals. As you all know that first we'll start with in-text work example numericals. Then we go with the in-text numericals along with the exercise numericals. So page number 134, example 10.1. I'll consider that as the first one. The mass of the earth is, so here mass of the earth and mass and that of moon is given. I'll consider mass of the earth as a capital M. 6 into 10 raised to 24 kg and that of moon is 7.4 into 10 raised to 22 kg. If the distance between the earth and moon is, shall we consider that as R? 3.84 into 10 raised to 5 kilometer. Calculate the force exerted. Calculate the force exerted by the earth on the moon. So calculate the force exerted where G is given as 6.7 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square kg minus 2. Now here children, this is 10 raised to 5, it is in kilometer. Distance always is in terms of meter. So kilometer in terms of meter we have to convert means into 10 raised to 5 into 10 raised to 3 meter, shall I write? 1000 meter. Okay. So this is nothing but 3.84 into 10 raised to 8 meter. Remember, distance always measured in terms of meter. Mass always measured in terms of kg. So calculate the force exerted. So we know the formula F is equal to G M upon R square. Substitute and find. So 6.7 into 10 raised to minus 11 into 6 into 10 raised to 24 into 7.4 into 10 raised to 22 whole divided by 3.84 into 10 raised to 8 whole square. Now, I'll just show you how to simplify this sum. Okay. First, let us all segregate with the numbers and the exponent part to other side. 6.7 into 6 into 7.4 into 10 raised to minus 11 plus 24 plus 22. Is this correct what I have done? Divided by 3.84 into 3.84 into 10 raised to 8 2s are 16. Understood what we have done now? 2 decimals are shift here. 1 decimal I'll shift here. 2 decimals we shifted. These 2 decimals are there here, right? Just see the calculations how I will go with. Now this will be written as 67 into 6 into 74 into 10 raised to minus 11 plus 24. I'll keep this as it is. At once only we'll do it. Divided by 384 into, I will take 2 zeros here children, 384 into 10 raised to 14. Is this fine? Okay, because 2 zeros are multiplied and I remove the decimal. Take that 10 raised to 14 there. 67 into 6 into 74 divided by 384 into 384 into 10 raised to minus 11 plus 24 plus 22 minus 14. So decimals, when you do this calculations, you get 10 raised to 21 through the calculations exponential form. Here what I will do now is how much ever possible I will just cancel it. 2 1s are 2 9s are 2 2s are 18, 2 3s are 6. 2 3s are 6, 2 7s are 14, 2 1s are 2 9s are 18, 2 2s are 4. So numerator we have 67 into 3 into 37. Denominator we have 192 into 192. Just multiply that. Numerator, when you multiply this, you will get the answer as 7437 divided by 192 into 192, you will get 36864 into 10 raised to 21. Denominator is greater than the numerator. Multiplication or division will be difficult. We'll take 1 0 from that. 74370 divided by 36864. 74,370 divided by 36,864 into 10 raised to 20. Further, you can still divide it. Try bringing it to the simplest form as much as possible, okay? And then, how to simplify 2 ones are 2 twos are? Bring it to the simplest fraction as possible. Then whatever is in the denominator, children, write the tables and then start dividing. For example, 2 ones are 2, 2 eights are 16, 2 fours are, 2 twos are, 2 threes are. Then again this. Whatever number comes, write the tables of that number. Division I have already told you bigger numbers how to divide it. I will just give you the final answer, which is 2.01 into 10 raised to 20 Newton. But did you understand how I brought it to this level of calculation? Only there are 1 or 2 sums similar like this, where only such sums the calculation part is a bit lengthy, last part. But you can bring it to the easiest form till here. We'll go to the next one now. So the next worked example is on page number 136. Depending upon the equations of motion with respect to acceleration due to gravity. A car falls off a ledge and drops on the ground in, so I'll take this as second one, drops on the ground at 0.5 seconds. See here they have given g is equal to 10 meters per second square. In case if the g value is not given, we are supposed to use that as 9.8. If they give, we consider that as 10. Otherwise, g is 9.8. Plus or minus with respect to the question we'll understand. For simplifying calculation, a car falls off the ledge. A car is falling off the ledge, so let us take initial velocity is 0. Now what we have to find, what is the speed? What is its speed on striking the ground? So first part, we have to find v. What is its speed on striking the ground? So what is the formula? We know that instead of A, we'll use G. I'll write up equations of motion formula, you can just write it. So G is equal to V minus U divided by T. So G is 10. V we have to calculate minus 0 divided by 0.5. So V is equal to 5 meter per second. Equations of motions I'll just write here. G is equal to V minus U by T. V square is equal to U square plus 2GH. H is equal to UT plus half GT square. Wherever A is there, use G. Wherever S is there, use H. That's all. So V is 5 meters per second. What is the second part of question? Average speed. Average speed is given by U plus V divided by 2. 0 plus 5 divided by 2. So average speed is 2.5 meters per second. Third part, what they have asked? They have asked how high is the ledge from the ground? How high is the ledge from the ground is S is equal to H, question mark. H is equal to UT plus half GT square. So U is 0, into, we'll just write it since it is 0 anyhow, doesn't matter. Half into 10 into 0.5 square. So this is 0, 2 ones are, 2 fives are 10, 5 square is 25. So 0 plus 5 into 0.25, 25 fives are 125. So 1.25 meter. Okay. We can get the conclusion of the answer if you want. We'll go with the next one. An object is thrown vertically upwards. So an object is thrown vertically upwards, third one, and rises to a height of 10 meter. H is equal to 10 meter. Calculate the velocity with which the object was thrown. So an object was thrown upwards, it raised to a height of 10 meter. Calculate the velocity with which the object was thrown. U is equal to question mark and V is equal to 0. Why? Because it was thrown with some velocity. V will become 0, that is why we can calculate height as 10 meter. How do you know what height it has got? It will reach the height and from there it will come down. Okay. So V is 0 here. U we have to find out according to them what they have given. Velocity with which the object was thrown upwards. Time taken by the object to reach the highest point. So now you see, first of all, only H is given where we have to find U as well as we have to find V. I think with the formula where H is there and V square formula we can use it. So V square is equal to U square plus 2GS. Okay, now what is G here? The body was thrown up, the ball was thrown up. They have not given as 10. So we have to consider G as minus 9.8 meters per second square. Why minus? Because the ball was thrown up. Understood why G is now 9.8? Because they have not given here as 10. Substitute 0 is equal to U square plus 2 into minus 9.8 into 10. So U square minus 2 into 98 into 10, what you will get that as 196 is equal to 0. Shift this side. U square is equal to 196. U is equal to square root of 196 and U is equal to 14 meters per second. Next, what they have given? Time. So to calculate time, G is equal to V minus U upon T. G is minus 9.8 where V is 0 minus 14 divided by T. So cross multiply. T is equal to minus 14 upon minus 9.8. T is equal to 140 upon 98. I have removed the decimal. 2 4s are 8, 2 9s are 2 7s are 14, 0, 7 10s are 7, 7s are. So time is equal to, we'll get that in decimal, that is 1.43 seconds. Okay. We'll go with the next one. Next worked example, what they have given. I think you can mark this for homework. 10.4, page number 138. A mass of an object is 10 kg. What is its weight on the earth? So weight is equal to mass into gravity, that is 10 into 9.8. Very simple one, children. You can just mark it and finish it off. Okay. Fourth one I have given for homework, which is already a worked example. Go through and just finish it. Fifth one, an object weighs 10 Newton when measured on the surface of the earth. So weight on the earth is equal to 10 Newton. What would be its weight when measured on the surface of the moon? So what is the relation we have? Weight of the object on moon is nothing but 1/6 the weight of the object on earth. This is the relation we have. So weight of the object on moon is equal to 1/6 by 10. So weight of the object on moon is equal to 1.67 Newton. Simple question. Next one. Sixth one. It's on the pressure. About the pressure they have given here. A block of wood is kept on a tabletop. The mass of wooden block is 5 kg. Mass is given as 5 kg. And its dimensions are: length is equal to 40 centimeter, breadth is equal to 20 centimeter, and height is equal to 10 centimeter. Find the pressure exerted by the wooden block on the tabletop. Find the pressure exerted on the tabletop if the box is made to lie along with the dimensions. That is, if it is made to lie along with the dimensions, length is equal to 20 meter and breadth is equal to 10 centimeter. Meter or centimeter? Oh, sorry, centimeter. B part is homework, children. A part I will do, B part you have to do it. I know it's a worked example, but still you can solve it by yourself as well. So find the pressure they have given. So just we'll write, what is the formula? We know that pressure is equal to force upon area. Okay. Now to calculate pressure, I should know force, I should know area. Now both the things are unknown to us. Let us calculate. Therefore, force is equal to mass into acceleration, that is mass into gravity. What is gravity here, which is not given? So we will consider G as 9.8 meters per second square. How much is mass? 5 into 9.8. Therefore, force is equal to 49 Newton. What about area? Area of the box. Now, area of the box, we are not finding TSA or CSA. We are only finding the box on which part it is lying. That is nothing but length into breadth. Now, how do you know which is length and breadth? They have already given you here. 20 into 10. 200 centimeter square. But here you want area in terms of, because this is in terms of Newton. So let us keep this in meter square. 0.02 meter square. I think by now children you should know all the conversions clearly. Again, we'll write the formula. Pressure is equal to force upon area. How much is force? 49 divided by 0.02. You can remove the decimals if you want. 4900 divided by 2. 2 2s are 4, 2 4s are 8, 2 5s are 10, 0. 2450 Newton meter square, or you can give this as 2450 Pascal. Anyhow, right? First part I have solved. B part you can give it, take it for a homework, where the box is lying with dimensions of 40 by 20. So the last worked example on relative density. The examples on relative densities as well as the exercise numericals are very simple. Seventh one, the relative density of silver is 10.8. No SI unit for relative density. Relative density of silver is how much? 10.8. Density of water. If they don't give you, you have to remember what is density of water here. Density of water 10 raised to 3 kg per meter cube. Now formula, what you have to find here? What is the density of silver in SI unit? So relative density of silver, of substance actually it is equal to density of the given substance, density of silver divided by density of water. We all know what is relative density of silver, which is 10.8. Density of silver as it is, which we have to calculate. Density of silver. Density of water is already given, 10 raised to 3. So just cross multiply. 10.8 into 10 raised to 3 kg per meter cube. That's the answer. Okay, this is how you solve it. So there we complete the in-text worked examples. Now let's start first with the in-text numericals and then we'll go with the exercise numericals. So let's start with the in-text numericals here. We'll go with the exercise, third one. Third one you can take it for homework, children. So this was from worked examples. Third one from the exercise. Why am I giving this homework? Because now here everything is given, the data itself is given. You have to substitute same like how we had done in the worked example part. Third question you can mark it for a homework. So the next one we will go for question number 12. Gravitational force similar as the one what we have done again. 12th one please mark for homework. 12th one is with respect to weight of the object on moon and weight of the object on earth. You know how to correlate them and find out. Next we will go with 13th one. A ball is thrown vertically upwards. You can just have a figure for your reference. If this is a ground, a ball is thrown vertically upwards with velocity 49 meters per second. So it is thrown with velocity 49 meters per second. So U is 49 meters per second. Calculate the maximum height it reaches. Okay, so if it is reaching a maximum height, so V has to be 0. Because it reaches a particular height and from there it comes down and something has to become 0, V will become 0. Total time takes to return to the surface of the earth. I will just write here total time. I'll explain this once we finish with V. Total time. Okay, so with respect to that, what we have to calculate now, G, it is what we have to see. Now what is G? Now they have not given that G is 10. So we have to consider G as 9.8 meters per second square. Since the ball is thrown upwards, G is minus. You have to calculate H. So to calculate H here, time is not known, only U is known. Which formula will you get over here? So V square is equal to U square plus 2GH. So V is 0, U square is 49 square plus 2 into minus 9.8 into H. So this formula when you apply, so here what we will do now, 0 is equal to 49 square is 2401 minus 19.6 H. Shift this side. 19.6 H is equal to 2401. H is equal to 2401 divided by 19.6. You can remove the decimal and then calculate this. Do the calculation part. I will give you height direct answer 122.5 meter. This is the height. Next, time we have to calculate now. So to find time, I will use this formula. G is equal to V minus U by T. G is minus 9.8, 0 minus 49 divided by T. Cross multiply. T is equal to minus 49 divided by minus 9.8. So T is equal to plus 490 divided by 98. Calculations when you do, you get T as 5 seconds. Okay. What they have asked, read the question, the last part again. Total time it takes to return to the surface of the earth. So the ball will reach at the particular height 5 seconds. It has to also come down. So in such condition, we always consider that let time of ascent is equal to time of descent. That means whatever time the ball has taken to reach on the top, it will take the same time to reach down. Okay. So this and this is same. This implies total time taken to reach the ground is 5 plus 5, 10 seconds. Okay, this is how you solve it. We'll quickly go with the next one, 14th one. A stone is released from the top of the tower of height. A stone is released from the top of the tower. Okay. So h is equal to 19.6 meter. It is released. G is not mentioned anywhere. So let's take as 9.8 meters per second square. Calculate its final velocity. The stone is released, children. So u is 0. Calculate its final velocity just before touching the ground. So directly we can use the formula here. What else they have given here? V square is equal to u square plus 2gs, right? Where v we have to find out 0 plus 2 into 9.8 into 19.6. So v square is equal to, always whenever you have such type of a question, whenever you get these type of equation to calculate v square or anything which comes in a square, that always will be a perfect square. So when you multiply this, you will get it in terms of 19.2 into 9.6 is what? 19.6 and 19.6. So 19.6 into 19.6 it is. Like this I will write. So v square is equal to 19.6 whole square. So v is equal to 19.6 meters per second. A simple questions there are where we have to only know what should be your g value, whether it should be plus or minus. So the next sum we will start now. 15th one. A stone is thrown vertically upward with an initial velocity of 40 meters per second. So a stone is thrown upwards. Always when downward, upward, please make a note, easy for you to calculate. It is thrown upwards with initial velocity of 40 meters per second. They have already given you what to take as g here. U is equal to 40 meters per second, where g is 10 meters per second square. Find the maximum height reached by the stone. Maximum height reached by the stone, that means V is 0. Children, here you should know at what time U is 0 and what time it is V is 0. Okay. Then what is the net displacement and total distance covered? That we will write it later. Net displacement and total distance covered. That means a stone is thrown upward, it will fall down after that, net displacement. Total distance covered, it has to go, it has to come down. Total distance covered. Remember in the first chapter we had about displacement and distance traveled? Yes, we have a slight combination sum here also. So let's first of all find out with respect to what we have to find here. So we have to find the distance. Let's stick to this. Now G is there, V is 0 and this is given. So which formula will you use here is V square is equal to U square plus 2GH, where V is 0 and U is 40 whole square plus 2 into 10 into H. Now the stone is, once again children, a stone is thrown vertically upwards. Let me consider G as minus. Yes. Calculate this. 0 is equal to 4 square 16, 1600 minus 20H. Suppose if you forget to take this negative sign here, by chance you have only taken G as 10, but here what happens in calculation, somewhere you get negative answer. That is why we come to know upward direction negative, downward direction positive. Shift it to other side. I'll shift 20H only to other side is equal to 1600. So H is equal to 1600 divided by 20, 0 and 0, 2 8s. So height attained is 80 meter. Now what have they asked? Let's stick to that. They have asked the net displacement covered by the stone. Net displacement. Directly I will write this as 0. Reason you can mention, whenever the body reaches its original position, its displacement is 0. We all know that. So net displacement is 0. What is net distance traveled or total distance traveled? So again, time ascent is equal to time descent. Total time taken to travel, total time taken to come down. The same thing here. How much ever time it takes to go on top, we assume that it takes the same time to come down. You can just write 80 plus 80. 160 meter. This we have to be very careful. Displacement as well as distance traveled, what they have asked. So we'll calculate the next one now. 16th one I'll mark again for homework, children. See, all these sums I'm marking for homework because it is the same thing. Calculate the force of gravitation between the earth and sun, given that mass of the earth is given, sun is given, and distance between them is given. Which formula we have to use? F is equal to G m upon r square, where G value you already know, 6.7 to 10 raised to minus 11. Mass of the earth and mass of the sun is given. Consider any one as capital M and small m. Distance between them is given as 1.5. Need not convert also. Distance between them is already given in terms of meter. So your thing is to only substitute, do the calculation. I've told you how to make the calculation very simple. We'll go with the next one. Question number 17. A stone is allowed to fall from a top of a tower 100 meter high. So this is a tower which is 100 meter high. So a stone is allowed to fall from a top. Acceleration due to gravity is plus, understood. At At the same time, another stone is projected vertically upwards. When we throw a stone down, at the same time, another stone is throwing from this side. So somebody is throwing from top and another person is throwing from down, right? Of the same tower only. At the same time, another stone is projected vertically upwards from the ground with velocity 25 meters per second. We'll write it in the given later. Calculate when and where the two stones will meet. Now that means at some point of time when you are throwing and somebody is throwing, there is a point here. Let us consider one point, not exactly half, somewhere in between. They are going to meet. Yes, we have to calculate that. So, suppose if I consider this total distance as S or H, anything. Total distance covered is total height or distance is 100 meter I will consider. Then I will consider this meter as 100, I mean this meter as S, and this meter, I mean this distance 100 minus S. We do the same thing in mathematics, right children? Like if this is the total distance is S, or total distance is given as 100, this will travel S distance, this will travel 100 minus S distance. Together when we add them, what we get? We get again 100 meter. So according to me, the stone which travels till here travels S distance. The stone which travels from here till here travels 100 minus S distance. This much is understood. Now let us write down the downward direction and upward direction separately. So we can just keep the starting here it as 17 sum. Let the time t taken, let after time t, some time, we should write what time are they meeting, we don't know. Let after time t, both the stones meet at S. Okay? Given height of the tower is equal to 100 meter. Just consider this. We have considered that as S here. Now we have to also write what is the distance traveled in the downward mode and distance traveled in the upward direction. Write down. Distance traveled in downward direction is equal to S, and distance traveled in the upward direction is 100 minus S. This much is very clear, children. The starting we have to write because we need to know what we have taken. Shall I just erase this? You can also consider it as X also. Anything, any variable you can take it over here. I'll just erase this part because there is lot many things to be done here now. Anyhow, we already have it in the figure given at this. Then G is equal to plus or minus 9.8 meters per second square. Now the only thing here in this question is if I consider G as 9.8, I will get the answer in terms of decimal, right? If I take G as plus 10 or minus 10, answer will come in terms of whole number. For this sum, children, I suggest you to go for 10 meters per second square, plus or minus. Now you know when it is plus. In the downward direction it is plus and in the upward direction it is minus. Still in your school if your teacher tells no, you have to take, because see none of the sums we assume G value as 10. We have to take as 9.8 until unless they mention. But in this sum, I suggest you, because when you refer most of the books, they take 10 only, because finally height what you get in this, children, it will be easy for calculation. But in your school, if they insist no, 9.8 is correct, go with that. I have written plus or minus 10. Why plus or minus 10? Downward is plus, upward direction it is minus. So I will go for plus or minus 10 value for G. Now, first of all, let us calculate when it is coming in the downward direction. First part. For stone dropped from the top. If the stone is dropped from the tower, U is 0, G is plus 10 meters per second square, and S is S only here. Write the formula. What we know, S is equal to UT plus half GT square. So U is 0 into T plus T is not known. That is what we have to find out here. Half into 10 into T square. S is equal to 5 T square. Equation 1. For the stone dropped in the downward direction. Now let us do it for the upward. Second part. For stone dropped or stone thrown upwards. What is U? It is thrown upwards with the velocity of 25 meters per second. U is equal to 25 meters per second. Then what else is given here? G is equal to minus 10 meters per second square. So let me just substitute now. S dash I will take, because this was S and this is another part. S dash is equal to UT plus half GT square. What is S dash, children? This was S and this is 100 minus S, right? 100 minus S is equal to 0 into T plus half, not 0 into T, 25 into T, because U is 25, into half GT square, 10 into T square. So, shall I just erase this and do the sum here, or I can do it here also? Till here it is very clear. Keep this as it is. 100 minus S is equal to 25T. 5 plus 5T square. What is S? S is 5T square. Substitute here. 100 minus 5T square is equal to 25T. G is minus 10. So this also comes minus. G is minus 10 here. Minus 5T square. Can I cancel 5T square and 5T square? I had not taken G as minus. Okay. What remain here now? 100 is equal to 25T. So T is equal to 100 upon 25. So T is equal to 4 seconds. So we can give the conclusion here is at what time? I mean, it will meet after 4 seconds. When you throw here and when you throw from here, after 4 seconds, both the stones will meet. Hardly for fraction of seconds, children, because that stone is going to go up. This stone is going to come down. But they are going to meet after 4 seconds. Okay? Right from there and this from here. Let's calculate what distance it has travelled. The stone when you throw up, what distance it has travelled. The stone what has come down, what distance it has travelled. So we can give the conclusion also here that distance travelled by stone. So first we will take this as for downward. Dropped I will just write here. For dropped, S is equal to 5T square. So 5 into 4 square, 5 into 16, that is equal to 80 meter. So from top, the stone will travel 80 meter. Now just tell me, how much should be this, children? It should be 20. Why? 80 plus 20 will give me 100. Right? So, thrown upward. We already have here. It is 100 minus S. 100 minus 80, 20 meter. Calculate. Total distance is how much? 100 meter. That is what? Total height of the tower. Did we tally that? Yes. A quite lengthy sum, but if you understand stepwise, it is actually very simple. Again, see here. I only had missed the G value as negative. So I was wondering where I might have gone wrong. But G value negative, if I put it here, exactly I'll get the answer. With that one negative value, if you don't use it for upward direction, you will go wrong in the sum. We'll go with the next one. Then we have two more sums of relative densities which are very, very simple. A ball thrown vertically returns to the thrower after 6 seconds. So, 18th one, a ball which is thrown, G is equal to minus 9.8 meters per second, which is vertically, a ball thrown vertically returns to the thrower after 6 seconds. So, time of ascent is equal to time of descent. So total whatever time it takes and total whatever time it comes down, total is 6 seconds. So total time is 6 seconds. Therefore, time to reach 3 seconds, time to come down is 3 seconds. I have just written the statement, I have written total time. Understood? Because whatever time it takes and whatever time it takes to come down, totally it is 6 seconds, children. So how much time it will take to reach? 3 seconds. How much time it will take to come down? 3 seconds. Find with what velocity, find the velocity with which the ball was thrown up. So it was thrown up, u is equal to question mark. It reaches a particular height. V is equal to 0. Then maximum height it reaches, and its position after time is already we know 3 seconds. This is the first part of question. Second part of question, what they have asked, the position after 4 seconds. For the same given, we will use 4 seconds there to answer. Let's solve this sum now. So everything is given. With respect to height, what we have to calculate here, I think I can use the formula G is equal to V minus U divided by T, where G is, it is thrown up, no? So minus 9.8. G value is not given, so I am supposed to use 9.8 only. Previous sum, children, understood why I took that? Because I would get the answer in terms of decimals, right? So V is 0 minus U divided by 3. So when you cross multiply this, U is equal to, directly I will give you the answer, 29.4 meters per second. Therefore the ball was thrown with a velocity of 29.4 meters per second. Now what we have to calculate next? Height we have to calculate. So V square is equal to U square plus 2GH. V is 0, U is 29.4 whole square plus 2 into G is minus 9.8 into H. So 29.4 square, you find out, do the calculations here. I will only give you the H value. So final H value here would be 444.1 meter. Please do this further calculations. Direct H value what I have given. Second part is done. What is the last part they have asked? Its position after 4 seconds. So already we know the time they have given for 3 seconds. Now we have to calculate the position of the ball after 4 seconds. Now the next part what they have asked here is what is its position after 4 seconds. Now for example this is what in the beginning what we had considered. Like this is the ground. From here what you throw the ball, right, it will take 3 seconds to travel here and it will take 3 seconds to come down, right? With all these things what we had written, we calculated u when v will become 0. Now what is happening here, how much was the u? U we found out as 29.4 and here v will become equal to 0. That is why it reaches the peak, 3 seconds. Now the question is, what is the position of the ball after 4 seconds? Now after 4 seconds means children, it is not that the ball will go still on top and the time is 4 seconds. That means the ball has already travelled here. After 3, the next is 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds it touches the ground. After that is before it touches the ground it is 6 seconds. That means the ball is already falling down in the downward motion. Time is equal to 4 seconds what they have given. Therefore, what is u? U is 0. The ball is moving with the initial velocity 0. Time is equal to, now already 3 seconds it has travelled. 4 seconds means 4 minus 3, time is 1 second. I have to just calculate that for 1 second. Why? Because 3 seconds the ball travelled here. 4th second it came here, means the time taken from 3rd second to 4th second is 1 second. At what height did the ball reach? We have to find. So with this we will find h is equal to ut. And what is g value? G was here minus, right? So g will be plus 9.8 meters per second square. Why? Because now the ball is falling down. Ut plus half gt square. So 0 into 1 plus half into 9.8 into 1 square. 2 1s are 2 4s are 8, 2 9s are 18. So h is equal to 4.9 meter. Okay. Now what they have asked here, position of the ball at 4 seconds. The position of the ball means here is what is the total height, children? So I'll just write final what you have to write. Position of the ball after 4 seconds is, please write that conclusion. Total height is how much? 44.1 minus 4.9 you have to do. Why you have to do this? That's because you need to see what height the ball is, because 4th second the ball is here. The remaining distance from the ground. Answer is 39.2 meter. Therefore, the ball is at a distance of 39.2 meter here somewhere from the ground. Okay. So from the ground if you calculate, the ball is at a distance of 39.2 meter. Please write this conclusion as per the question what is asked. We'll move to the next one. Now the next one is about the relative density. The volume of 50 grams of a substance is 20 centimeter cube. So the volume is 20 centimeter cube and mass is 50 grams. If density of water is 1 gram centimeter minus cube, will the substance float or sink in the water? Let us see, will the substance float or sink? So formula, volume is equal to, density is equal to mass by volume. Okay, so we have given this to compare it over here. Density is equal to mass by volume. So what is mass? Mass is 50. What is volume? It is 2. So this is 2.5 gram centimeter cube density. What does this mean? Will the substance float or sink in the water? Density is more than water. So what will happen? The substance will actually sink in water. We always compare density of any substance with respect to water. Suppose if I just put this pen cap into the water, it will float because its density is less than water. That is, density is less than 1. Anything which has density less than 1 or more than 1 we compare. What is that 1? That is nothing but density of water. Therefore, the substance, give the conclusion, it will sink in water. Okay? And the last sum, with that we complete gravitation chapter. The volume of 500 gram sealed packet is, mass is 22, 500 gram sealed packet, volume is 350 centimeter cube. Will the packet float or sink in water? We have to check again. If the density of water is, again density of water is given. If in case it is not given, you should know. Density of water is 1 gram per centimeter cube. What will be the mass of water displaced by this packet? Now first of all, let's find density of 500 gram sealed packet is equal to mass by volume. So mass is 500 divided by 350. So answer is 1.428 gram per centimeter cube. Therefore, the object will sink in water. Please give the conclusion in words what you have to write. Last, the mass of the water displaced. The mass of the water displaced by the packet is how much? It will be equal to the volume of the packet, is equal to the volume of the packet. Correct, no? Whatever volume is the packets, that much amount of volume will be displaced. I mean, that much mass of water will be displaced. Of course it is. You put a lemon in a glass. I mean, for example, if you put that, how much mass is expelled out? Whatever is the mass of the lemon, whatever is the volume of the lemon, that much amount of water will be expelled out. So, is equal to the volume of the packet, that is 350 gram. The mass of water. Now, why it is 350 gram? Because we are checking the mass. We are not checking the volume. Mass of water. Whatever is the volume part, that in terms of grams you have to write. Calculate this with the formula. You will get the same answer again, right? So, mass of the water displaced by the packet. So, mass with respect to here when you calculate it, you are again going to get the same answer. So, with that, we complete the chapter gravitation and also its numericals.